But when you look at what you were doing with the Nation, everyone you were surrounded by,
all Hall of Famers, all top talent, all guys that I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to be around. And first and foremost is Ron Simmons. I mean, to have that man as your mentor, your life coach, your pseudo father, it doesn't get any better than that. And mind you, the whole time I idolized this man growing up.
wow.
So to have the opportunity to go from watching him, hell, I was in the arena when he won the WCW World Title from Big Van Vader in Baltimore, Maryland.
You were there.
I was there as a fan.
Wow.
So to go from that to 5 years later, standing in another ring in the same building, standing next to the man, surreal.
Had you already started wrestling at that point when you saw him?
It was right on the cusp. This was 93-ish, and I started in 94. So, yeah.
And what he did, I mean, he broke so many barriers with that.
Absolutely. He showed people of color that you could be good at this.
Yeah.
And he became that shining light, and he opened the door. And, myself, there's a bunch of others who go, I did this, I got into this, because if Ron could do it, then there's a path already laid for me to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And, man, they say never meet your heroes. I'm so glad I met mine.
What about Rock? When Rock joined, did you go, oh, yeah, he's something special?
Not at first. Even Rock will tell you no, because at first he had come off the failed Rocky Maivia gimmick. He was coming off an injury.
With the pineapple hair,
With the pineapple hair and the frilly,
Yeah.
And he would tell you he was trying to repackage himself. And he wanted to get rid of that mystique of that failed baby face. And he was afforded the protection of being in the Nation, where you were allowed to make mistakes and had great minds around you that could help cultivate you. And then the one thing I did learn about Rocky was he was willing to do the work. He was willing to outwork anyone. And what I mean by that was there are times we would be in the car and you could see him thinking. We'd listen to the radio and he'd go, oh, what was that? And it'd be a catchphrase from a song, and 2 days later you'd hear it in a promo. We would watch movies, and he would take from pop culture, and the things that would work he would keep in there, the things that didn't he would get rid of, and you saw that, and because of that hard work, you went, okay, this brother's working.
Yeah.
He's putting the time in, and feeling every incarnation of how we would try different promo styles to finally get the one that worked. And you can see the evolution of it. If you go back and watch Raw, you can see the evolution of his promo styles till finally took about 6 months for him to really hone in on it. And when he did, that's when he walked out on the stage in that black vest and he called himself The Rock for the first time against Steve Austin. And, well, y'all know the rest of the history.
I asked The Rock what his most memorable promo was of all time. I mean, that's so difficult because The Rock's got so many promos.
Right.
And he said his most memorable promo was the one in the Nation where he said, The Rock's a lot of things, but sucks isn't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the turning point of him turning into The Rock.
And I think that was one of the first times he referred to himself in the third person, referred to himself specifically as The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the birth of it. And that was the growth of it. And I will tell you, one of the greatest seats to ever have. I had the best seat in the house to watch the brightest superstar in the history of this business light up and take off.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm thankful and blessed.